So this is the Ford EcoSport, a small SUV based on the Ford Fiesta. Now, it was originally built for markets outside Europe, but it's been on sale in the UK since 2014 and received an update in 2018. I think it's fair to say that we weren't that impressed with the EcoSport in its original form, so let's see if the update has done anything to revise that opinion. First of all, there are some notable styling differences. The front end now looks like Ford's bigger SUVs, the Cougar and the Edge, with a much larger grille and headlights than before. It is an improvement, but overall the car's proportions still look a little bit off. One thing they haven't improved though is the boot. More specifically, how you get into the boot. It took me quite a while to figure this one out because it's not here as you'd expect, or maybe even down there. No, there's a little handle tucked away here and it opens sideways and it's really very, very heavy. And just look at the amount of space it takes up. What this means is that if you're in, say, a multi-storey car park or simply just parked on the road with other cars behind you, the boot is useless because you can't actually get into it. However, once you do get into it, well, actually the space isn't that bad. It's not class leading, but it's a good square shape, there's no load lip, and it fits all the Carbuyer suitcases with ease. But even that positive does not make up for this. The door. It's awful. Here in the back, well, there's not that much more legroom than you'll find in a Ford Fiesta, so tall people with a tall driver will find themselves travelling with their knees really pushed up in front. It's also the same story across the seat. It's not actually that wide, so getting three of you in here is really going to be pretty snug. It's best suited to children, to be honest. But one thing that's quite irritating, considering this is a family car, is the fact that the doors don't open that wide. It makes getting children in and out of car seats really quite awkward. The cheapest EcoSport model is the Z-Tech, which is pretty well equipped for an entry-level car. You get alloy wheels, fog lights, powered mirrors and air conditioning, as well as digital radio and full smartphone connectivity with Apple or Android phones. Stepping up to the titanium brings bigger wheels, roof rails, a larger touchscreen, sat-nav, a rear-view camera and part leather trim, while the ST line is the sporty choice with sport suspension, a body kit and a leather steering wheel. An update to the EcoSport's interior was desperately needed, and to be fair, things do look a whole lot better in here now. It's basically a replica of the Ford Fiestas, and that is no bad thing. Now, as I've said, this 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system is only available on the higher spec models, but even the entry level still comes with a 6-inch screen. Storage isn't too bad. You've got good sized door bins. The glove box is small, but it's a usable shape. Although I do think the cup holders are in a really awkward position tucked down here next to the handbrake. And it's worth noting that this centre console and armrest isn't available on the entry-level model. The EcoSport comes with a choice of a 1 litre 123 horsepower petrol or a 1.5 litre 99 horsepower diesel engine, and you can have an automatic gearbox with the petrol but not the diesel. The ST line gives you the option of a more powerful 138 horsepower petrol engine, which is what we've got here. Now, although the Fiesta on which this car is based is a lot of fun to drive, sadly the EcoSport isn't. Raising the suspension has had a bad impact on the handling and it really does lean heavily into corners. Now, this is the ST line, which doesn't help things because the ride is actually very harsh. It really picks up every lump and bump in the road. Steering also could do with being more direct. Neither of the gearboxes are fantastic, but the manual is definitely the better of the two. The automatic really seems to struggle to find the right gear, and it seems really quite sluggish as well. So the EcoSport isn't great to drive then, but is it cheap to run? Sadly, the answer is not really, especially if you go for the petrol engine. It'll manage a little over 50 miles per gallon regardless of which of the power outputs you go for. But the reality is that it won't achieve a figure like that in the real world. The diesel is more efficient though, but it does make the EcoSport almost unbearably sluggish to drive with its 14-second 0 to 60 time. Out of the engines, I think the slightly more powerful 1 litre is the one to go for. The less powerful unit just doesn't seem to me to have enough punch for the car, and it doesn't exactly fill you with confidence when you're trying to overtake on motorways. Overall, the Ford EcoSport is way off the pace of its competitors in too many areas. and it costs just too much to excuse those shortcomings. If you want a truly cheap SUV, you're better off in a Dacia Duster. But if you are after something stylish, modern and efficient, then cars like the Renault Captur and Seat Arona are a far better bet. If you're interested in the EcoSport, make sure you check out our Citroën C3 Aircross review and our SUV playlist. And don't forget to click on our logo to subscribe.